Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 7th of December and let's start with the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Guys, we are starting a little bit late today as I was little bit out. Now, let's start with the discussion and I would like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Also guys, in this particular session, first we start with overview so that you can understand that which articles are important for examination. So first let's take overview and then we'll go in detailed discussion. So first article that we have is recently the Lok Sabha that has passed Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization and Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Bill. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then government needs latitude to make peace, says Chief Justice of India. Okay, so basically article says that the government should be given leeway in compromise. Okay, now basically guys, moving on in this particular direction further, we don't have much relevant articles here for examination. Fine. Then in city section, regional issues etc. are there. Then further moving on, we have these advertisements. So in regional section, we don't have much relevant articles rather than advertisements and all such kind of things. So directly we'll reach to editorial section, and in editorial, first article that we have lessons from the assembly polls for 2024 battle. So guys, this article talks about the recently concluded elections, okay, in state legislative assembly and what indications, what hints it is giving for 2024 polls, the BJP's reasons that why it got succeeded, what is the vote bank of what is the share of the votes that BJP got, what worked for BJP, what other parties can learn. Article is political, not important for your UPSC examination, because guys, in examination such political calculus and related things are not asked. If you have interest, you can read it, but not for examination. Okay, then guys, further moving on, after that here also Congress has an opportunity to show its governance model in Telangana, given the Congress is able to form the government here in Telangana because it has scored a victory. Fine. Then further moving on, MP index reduction index under the NDA is flawed. So we'll see this particular article, guys. Article is talking about the multi-dimensional poverty index. What are flaws in that? What are the problems of the multi-dimensional poverty index? We'll take this particular article. Then guys, further moving on in this particular capacity here, side article. This article talks about the GST inflows which are on a healthy trajectory. Then how BJP worked to retain Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so this entire page is filled with the recently held elections and the information that is coming out of it. Okay, a look at Modi Chauhan influence on the BJP success, modest performance, rich harvest. No need to go in these articles for your examination. Then in text and context, we have this article navigating US-China relationship. We'll take this particular article for examination. Below article, role of special inquiry committee of parliament, will take this article also. Then further moving on, an experiment in education at grassroots level schools in Bangladesh. So basically this is a bibliography article in which they take some book and its premise is discussed. So here Unequal, the book by Swati Narayan is being discussed here. Then guys, further moving on, after again that we have largely the political articles, okay, what worked for BJP and all such kind of a thing. So no need to go too much in that. Date for next summit of India parties will be soon out soon, Khadge. So India bloc is opposition bloc that is being created, a grand alliance against BJP. So its next date of meeting, not important for examination. So you can completely skip this particular article. Then further moving on, fine, again we have the political articles. India reminds Myanmar to return to federal democracy. So guys, we have seen that 2 years back there was a military coup that happened in Myanmar, and after that the democracy has been removed. So India always has been the supporter of democracy, and as military regime has come, India often has put forward this particular thing that as soon as possible elections should be conducted and democracy should be brought back. So again, the same thing has happened. Then further moving on, here we have an article, panel working on guidelines on seizure of personal digital devices. We'll take this particular article for so many of the days it is going on. AICTE to regulate BB and BCA programs with curriculum vetted by experts. Okay. Then guys, after that, SpiceJet plane seized by lessors, not important. Move away from colonial mindset, encourage use of Bhartiya languages. Then on world page, guys, Ukraine, Gaza, and how Ukraine is still pounding up the Gaza. Okay, so civilians suffer heavy fightings or heavy losses. Then guys, further moving on in this particular direction, we come to the business page. Food price is likely to shot up in November. Government seeks parliament nod for extra spending in financial year 24. Okay. And then guys, we have sports section, and after sports we have science page, and today there is an important article that has come in science page, and a very good dimension has been given in this particular article. Who is responsible for farming's impact on the environment? We will take this particular article for examination. Okay, so this is guys all about it, and now further moving on, and let's discuss the detailed articles one by one. Okay, so guys, every class we start with the GS quotation, and these GS quotations you can use to complement your answers in GS paper or in essay. So today we'll take quotation from Dalai Lama. So Dalai Lama says, we can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. So until and unless internal conflicts, internal temptations, internal hate, greed, okay, sins that we have, until and unless we pacify them, until and unless we make a peace with them, we will never be able to resolve the we will never be able to bring the peace in the outside world. So first peace is to be inner. Okay, first internal resolutions, internal conflicts are to be resolved, internal temptations that are there, they are needed to be pacified. Only then we can look for bringing the peace in the outer world. You can use this particular quotation for GS paper number 4 ethics, as well as in essay paper you can also use this particular quotation. Okay, so that is all guys about it. And guys, one more urgent announcement I would like to make, that already we have reached 7th of December, and now the prelims pressure is building up, and for prelims pressure you need it, as this prelims pressure is there, and in order to secure prelims 2024, now the time has come that you should start moving in the prelims mode. And in this particular capacity, you already might be knowing that we have come out with the power play prelims test series, which you can join if you want, if you have not joined some other test series, and if you are looking for a kind of a program which can give you certain targets and can give you questions to test your preparation, then you can join our program, that is Power Play Prelims Test Series. In this particular test series, we are offering 70 plus tests. In this particular test series, we are offering 70 plus tests, which will cater to both GS as well as CSAT, and there will be sectional as well as the full length test that will be there. Now, this particular test series will be having dedicated test on current affairs, economic survey, budget, etc. And in order to ensure that this particular program should be accessible to everyone, we have given this test series at a subsidized price of 999 plus taxes, which will come around 1100 something rupees. So 999 plus taxes. However, this is valid for first 500 enrollments. Post that, the price will be reverted to its original price, that is 3999 plus taxes. Okay, and if you want to check the quality of the questions, there is also a demo module. You can visit on our website www.sahilsaini.net. Their demo module is there, which you can take to see the quality of questions. And for enrollment also, you need to visit www.sahilsaini.net, or you can scan this QR code. Also, the link is given in description box also. Now, let's start with the first article. So first article that we have, who is responsible for farming's impact on environment? Okay, so this is actually a very good article and a very fresh take that has been given here. Let's understand this particular article. Okay, now see guys, now see this particular thing guys. When we talk about agriculture, food production, it actually has a considerable impact on environment. Let me give you that how agriculture, food production has impact on environment. Let's see this particular thing guys, that often we grow water intensive crops. For example, sugarcane is a water intensive crop. Now guys, often what is happening, we are drawing groundwater to grow sugarcane. Now, as we are withdrawing groundwater to grow sugarcane, what happens? It depletes the water table, number one. Number two, guys, as you have to draw groundwater for sugarcane, also a lot of energy will be needed. A lot of energy will be needed. Let's say electricity is needed. What we are doing? We are operating diesel powered pumps, which is diesel power pump by which we are making electricity, and by that electricity we are drawing the ground water. So this particular thing will have its own emissions. So guys, when we talk about when we talk about the global emissions, around 15 to 18% according to some of the estimates are the emissions by agriculture. Okay, so agriculture, food production has its own impact on environment. Okay, as also it has certain social impacts also. Now guys, understand this particular thing. There are two models. There are two models right now that are prevalent. Actually, first model is prevalent. Second model is now coming. Let me explain that particular model, and then I will connect that particular model with this particular topic. See this particular thing. See, there is production based accounting model. Production based accounting model, and secondly there is consumption based accounting model. Consumption based accounting model. Okay, now production based accounting model. So basically guys, let's say I am growing a particular type of agricultural produce, and because of that there are certain carbon emissions that are happening. So basically, as per production based accounting model, that particular responsibility will be on the producer nation. That particular responsibility will be on the producer nation. For example, let's say environmental impact has happened because we are growing a lot of paddy, and let's say 10 unit of environmental impact has happened. So responsibility will be on the producer nation, that is India. Is it clear? That is production based accounting model. This is one thing. Now guys, ask yourself one question, or I will ask a question from you. A lot of products India is making, but is India consuming those products by itself? No. A lot of products India is exporting to the other countries. Now guys, what actually has happened post 1992, as climate change became an important issue, what happened? Developed countries, what they have done, they have shifted their polluting industries to developing countries. Okay, so that they can shift away the burden of climate. Now see, if I give you example of America, America today is the most consumeristic nation, and according to UNDP, if there will be one more America, okay, so, see, if India adopts consumption patterns of America, we will need two earths. We will need two earths to accommodate for those resources. So America happens to be the most consumeristic nation. And what America has done? A lot of production is shifted to the third world countries, developing countries, China, India, and from them they are importing the finished products, and they say that we are not emitting any carbon. These China, India are emitting the carbon. But why they are emitting carbon? Because they are making for you. They are making for you. So basically guys, what is happening? Production is happening in India. Production is happening in India. India is emitting the carbon, but consumption is happening in America. Consumption is happening in Europe. Okay, so at the end of the day, now this new thinking is coming that responsibility of the carbon emission should not be on the producer nation, should be on the consumer nation, should be on the consumer nation. Now guys, understand this particular thing. When we talk about the environmental problem that is there, we cannot have the compartmentalized approach. See, understand this particular thing. If carbon emission is happening anywhere in the world, it is a concern for the entire global environment. Okay, so simply this approach where USA shifted their factories to America, shifted their factories to China and India, and they say that we are not polluting, that is not going to solve the problem. You are still the most polluting. You have simply shifted your factories to China and India. So now guys, what has happened? Around the world, now the global trade has become so rampant, and because of this global trade, products are being made in X country, but they are being consumed by Y country. So carbon emission responsibility should be imposed on consumer nation, should be involved on consumer nation. Now read this particular line, you will get more clarity. Let's read one particular line here. Okay, just a minute, I will show you. Okay, so here we can see this particular thing, that the expansion of international trade has created global supply chains, supply chain originating from India and going to America. Global supply chains have been created, and directly consumers, which directly links consumer to geographically distant impacts. Okay, so consumer today in America, they are linked to the environmental impact that is happening in India because of production, because of its production. Today, large land areas in India, they are used to service the international demand for grains, fruits, vegetables, and other products also. India's water is being used, India's land is being used to satisfy the demands of the Americans and Europeans. So therefore, it is being said that production-based accounting, where you are shifting burden on producing nation, that is to be shifted to the consuming nation. So basically, consumption based accounting method is being suggested. Consumption based accounting method is being suggested. Now guys, if we talk about this consumption based accounting method, it will go in line with the equity and justice. Now see this particular thing. Guys, when we talk about the global emissions that have happened, historic emitter are developed nations such as America, Europe. Now today if we see, China and India are growing, and today they are doing more emissions. So America says that today more responsibility should be imposed on India and China. But often America and Europe forgets that historically they are the one who has polluted. And if I just give you the data, so you see this particular thing guys, that the developing economies, which includes India, they have contributed just 23% of global cumulative emissions. Okay, and guys, still we find 77% of cumulative emissions, they are done by the developed countries. And total climate change that has happened, 20 to 40% of global average temperature rise is because of the developing countries. Okay, and even today, developing countries' emissions, they are because of the consumption of Americans and Europeans. This is something that is happening. So basically, we need to fix the leaks that are there. And we need to fix this responsibility and put them onto the developed consumeristic nation. So therefore, consumption-based accounting method is being suggested. Now guys, the European Commission has taken initiative in this particular direction also recently. What European Commission has done? European Commission has taken the steps to ensure products consumed in the European Union have not contributed to deforestation in the country of the origin, and if that has happened, then the country's responsibility will be there. Okay, now guys, understand this particular thing, that if we bring the consumption based accounting method, what can be done? We can hold developed countries responsible, and if carbon emissions are happening in India for production, if water is getting declined in India for production, we can ask a compensation from the developed countries. Okay, we can ask technologies from the developed countries, and it will be true manifestation of CBDR, common but differentiated responsibility. What is CBDR? Common but differentiated responsibility. It is a core principle of climate negotiations, which says that climate change is a common problem. Okay, and we need to ensure that the climate change does not happen, but responsibility will be differentiated. Developed countries will do more, developing countries will do less. Okay, that is about it. And now moving on to the next article, navigating the US-China relationship. Now we'll take this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, International Affairs. GS paper number 2, International Affairs. Okay, now let's take this issue and let's understand that what is happening here. Okay, so basically guys, recently, actually if we go a little bit in the background, from the past 3 years, particularly post 2020, or if we actually trace precisely, then after the Donald Trump that came, that is post 2016, as Donald Trump came, US-China relations started to decline. Why? Because Donald Trump projected that the China is challenger to the hegemony of America, because China's rapid rise will challenge America's hegemony in the long run. Then 2020 pandemic happened, and Donald Trump, before as the 2020 pandemic happened, Donald Trump put that entire responsibility on China's shoulders. And as Joe Biden came, Joe Biden also carried the attitude of Donald Trump with respect to China. So China was isolated by America, and China was driven by arrival factor. So China also started to challenge the American hegemony. Because of this particular thing, relations between China and USA have declined. Okay, now guys, also what more happened, China started to sideline, China also started to support Russia. Russia-Ukraine war is going on. There China is supporting Russia or outrightly. Okay, also post Crimea, Russia also needed some partner and China became the partner for Russia. So because of this particular thing, antagonization has come between China and America. Now guys, recently what has happened, a summit has been organized between China and America. Already this summit we have covered also earlier. Now this particular summit was held in San Francisco on November 15. And in this particular summit, both of the countries have said that they will open the dialogue, and military to military cooperation, military to military information exchange that got suspended will now again be resumed. Now guys, when we talk about the America and China, their diplomatic relations were established in 1979 after China announced their open door policy, which was the LPG reforms of China. Okay, now guys, what has happened? The most important outcome of this San Francisco summit is that they have decided to restore military to military communications. Now this military to military communication is very important so that they can exchange information in the real time and some misunderstanding don't develop. Now, when we talk about India and China, China and America, under Military Maritime Consultative Agreement, which was started in 1998, under this, military to military communication will be resumed. Now guys, this particular communication got suspended after Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the US House of Representatives, visited the Taiwan. Okay, now there is a little bit of a background story about Taiwan also. Let's understand this. Now guys, when we talk about the Taiwan, China maintains one China principle. One China principle. Now what is this one China principle? So basically China says that they say that their China, People's Republic of China, is the mainland China. And they say Taiwan is not a sovereign country. It is not an independent country. Taiwan is nothing but the part of mainland China. And one day, China will include Taiwan in its fold. Okay, it will take over Taiwan. And for that, even if they need, even if they need to use power, they will use the power and they will include Taiwan in their own field. This is one China principle. Now, Taiwan on another hand says that no, we are not the principality of the People's Republic of China. We are an independent nation. Now guys, China maintains one particular thing very clearly, that if any country will recognize Taiwan as an independent nation, sovereign nation, and will have independent diplomatic relations with the Taiwan, we will be very angry, we will be very frustrated, and you then cannot have relations with us. Now you know guys that entire world is virtually dependent on China. So very less countries are recognizing Taiwan as a sovereign nation, and actually they recognize China only. So you have here, if you have here this only one methodology, either recognize Taiwan or recognize China. So therefore most of the countries have chosen China. Now guys, when we talk about India, India also in the past have recognized that the China is a sovereign nation. Now guys, when we talk about USA maintains the strategic ambiguity. Now what is the strategic ambiguity of USA? Okay, now as per strategic ambiguity of USA neither recognizes Taiwan as an independent sovereign nation, nor it denies that. It has maintained ambiguity. Okay, and recently what happened, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of USA, she visited Taiwan in 2022 and it became very much controversial, and in return China fired some missiles, breached the air defense zone of Taiwan also, and after that their cooperation under Military Maritime Consultative Agreement was broke, and now they are reviving it again, they are restoring it again. So this is guys that has happened. Also if we see in the past few years, their relations have declined also because of certain economic decisions that have been taken by both China and America. Let's take the example. Now guys, first of all, what has happened, as Joe Biden became president, he issued an executive order in 2021. And as per that executive order, they blacklisted 59 of defense and surveillance companies, defense and surveillance companies from America, and they said that these 59 companies are working for working for Chinese military industrial complex. Also guys, what has happened, before Joe Biden, Donald Trump also have blacklisted a lot of Chinese companies which were working for artificial intelligence and machine to machine communication. So Donald Trump blacklisted Chinese companies, then Joe Biden blacklisted 59 of the Chinese companies. After that guys, what happened, also USA has said that American firms as well as non-American firms, they cannot import devices to China which have some American technology. So American technology cannot be exported to China. Neither American companies do that nor non-American countries can do that. This is something that happened. Now guys, in return, China also has taken certain, has imposed certain sections of America. What China has done? China imposed a ban on exporting gallium and germanium to America. Now, gallium and germanium, they are the raw materials for the production of microchips as well as for the weapon systems. And you know that microprocessors, microchips, semiconductors, they are an important component of American economy. So gallium and germanium, if they will be restricted, that is going to pose a big time problem to America. Also guys, what they did, they also banned the export of graphite, which is important for production of the electric vehicle batteries. So this is something that has been done. So now what way forward comes in this particular direction? So guys, the way forward is, rather than decoupling, they should go for de-risking. They should go for de-risking. Now, what is decoupling? Decoupling is detachment of one country from the other. Now see, China banning American technologies or America banning Chinese technologies or something like that. This is a decoupling. What is de-risking? De-risking is to diversify their options. So this is something that should be proceeded, and cooperation is needed because world today cannot afford a third world war, because if that third world war will be there, then it will truly be the end of the world. So this is something that is there. Now moving on to the next article. The role of special inquiry, okay, the role of special inquiry committees of parliament. Okay, now this particular article guys, we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, polity and related issues. By the way, on this particular topic already I have made a detailed video. A standalone video has been made, so if you have not seen it, you can see it. Okay, now what this particular issue is all about, first of all, let me give you the context, and once we understand the context, then we'll go in this article's detail. Okay, GS paper number 2, polity. Now recently there was an incident that happened, and this incident involved one of an MP of Lok Sabha, that is Mahua Moitra. Now Mahua Moitra, an MP, it was alleged that she has taken money from some businessman for asking favorable questions in the parliament, and also she has given her portal login details to that businessman to ask the favorable questions. So this particular allegations was made on the MP Mahua Moitra. Now that particular matter reached to the ethics committee of Lok Sabha, and ethics committee has recommended the expulsion of Mahua Moitra. So we are going to see basically these particular details, that whether such expulsion is justified or not, what constitution says on that expulsion, what are the Supreme Court judgments on that particular expulsion, what is the mandate of ethics committee, and all such kind of details we are going to see in this particular article. Okay, so now let's take this particular article's discussion. Okay. So GS paper number 2, polity. Now, so I have told you the entire context, it is given here also, you can read it. Now, what is the role of ethics committee? Now guys, when we talk about ethics committee in Lok Sabha was constituted in 2000 to oversee the moral and ethical to oversee the moral and ethical conduct of the MPs. Okay. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that first of all, what is ethical conduct, what is unethical conduct? It has not been defined anywhere. Okay. Now, if an MP has done some unethical behavior or immoral behavior, then complaint against that particular MP could be made to ethics committee. Now, that particular complaint could be filed by the members of the house, or if some outsider wants to file the complaint, then through the MP, that outsider can also file the complaint. And all these particular complaint are referred, okay, through a member, fine, they are referred to the ethics committee, or the complaints can also be referred by the speaker. Okay. Now guys, this particular committee will make enquiry about the conduct of an MP and will see that whether ethical or unethical thing was done, whether unethical thing was done. Now what is unethical? Not defined anywhere. They will determine whether X is ethical or unethical. And once basically the findings are given, the particular report is given to the speaker, and speaker will place the report in front of the house, and then house will decide that finally what is to be done. So ethics committee has recommended that Mahua Moitra should be expelled. Now this matter will be placed in front of house, and house will finally take a call that whether she is to be expelled or not, Now guys, there is also one more similar committee, that is the privileges committee. Now often work of privileges committees and ethics committee, they overlap, but usually privileges committee, they investigate more serious accusation that is against the MP. Now we have seen that ethics committee has recommended expulsion of Mahua Moitra. Can that be done or not? So basically guys, the expulsion of an MP in the case of Lok Sabha, it is mentioned under the article number 101 of the Indian Constitution. And article 101 of the Indian Constitution provides that what are the grounds for vacating a seat, or what are the grounds for vacating the seats. So according to them, number one ground is voluntary resignation, number two is disqualification, and number three is continuous absence from the house for 60 days, 60 sittings. Now expulsion is not mentioned under article number 101. So therefore Supreme Court judgments are there. Now we have two conflicting judgments of Supreme Court. One judgment is Raja Rampal versus Honorable Speaker 2007 case. In this particular judgment, Supreme Court upheld the power of Parliament to expel its member. So they say if any parliamentary privilege has been breached by an MP, they could be expelled. There is the power in the hand of Parliament. Supreme Court said in Raja Rampal versus Honorable Speaker case. But there is a conflicting judgment, and that is Amrinder Singh versus Special Committee. Now under the Amrinder Singh judgment, Supreme Court said that the Supreme Court held expulsion by the State Assembly as unconstitutional. So this was given into the context of the State Assembly, and by logic it might be applied to Parliament also. So therefore, according to this judgment, expulsion cannot be there. So what will be done, what will not be done? This depends on the House. Further, if the MP wants, she can challenge this particular thing in court also. Then we need to see what will happen. But a very good and a beautiful way forward has been given in this particular matter. It is being said that, see, when we talk about investigation by ethics committee or privileges committee, first of all, you need to know that the privileges of the House, they developed in medieval Britain, okay, to protect the House of the Common, okay, from an authoritarian king. Now see this thing. Sometimes a king might do something unethical things, might abuse the powers. So therefore, it was important that he also should be held liable for certain things. Okay, and this is the reason that we have ethics committee, privileges committee in the countries where where the representative parliamentary form of government is there, including India. Okay, now it has been said that, see, though ethics committee has investigated the matter, but their investigation will not be detailed like a judicial investigation. Okay, so when we talk about the judicial investigation or a judicial case, in a judicial case, matter is decided as per the Indian Evidence Act. So basically it has been said that now if you want to expel MP, it is better that a fast track court should be established, and that fast track court should decide in a time bound manner, let's say 60 days, should decide in a time-bound manner that whether the MP should be expelled or not. And as a judicial case goes in much more detail, it will be able to do a complete justice in this particular case. So this is something that is to be done. And if this fast-track court also recommends expulsion, then under the Representation of People Act provision, the expulsion could be done. So this is something that has been recommended in this particular matter. So guys, I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll move to next article. We'll move to next article. Okay, so let's take if there are some questions. Sir, I have good command in reasoning as well as in reading comprehension, but math is not my cup of tea. So can I skip maths for CSAT? Okay, see this particular thing. Basically, CSAT today has become a key decisive factor in your UPSC prelims examination. Though, given the nature of paper that has been there in the past few years, if you have good command in two areas, let's say reasoning and English, or comprehension, if you have good command, logically, if you have good command in these two areas, and if in, let's say, arithmetic or mathematics you don't have good command, there is a probability that you can clear the examination. But you need to understand one thing very clearly, that in reasoning, though there is some certainty that you will be able to mark more correct questions, but in comprehension you might think that your reading skills are very good, but a lot of subjectivity, a lot of interpretational gap might come, particularly in the passages. So basically my point is that if you don't have good command in arithmetic, that I can understand, but don't leave it untouched. Don't leave it untouched. Identify some areas which you can prepare. Okay, because now CSAT's nature has little bit changed. Okay, moving on. Now, MP index reduction under the NDA is flawed. Now guys, what this particular article is talking about? Article is talking about the multi-dimensional poverty index. Okay, now first of all guys, let's see what will be the context of this particular article. So this particular article guys, we are going to take with respect to GS paper number 3, economy, progress versus economic development versus economic growth. Okay, now here there is one particular quotation that has been given, quotation of Samuel Johnson. So Samuel Johnson says that poverty is a great enemy to human happiness. It certainly destroys liberty, and it makes some virtues impractical and others extremely difficult. Okay, so poverty is now very beautiful quotation, and I will recommend you that please use this particular quotation in your essay also. Poverty is a great enemy to human happiness. Yes. Now see, often people say that money cannot solve all the problems. That is true. But money can at least solve the money problems. And if your money problems are at least solved, you have little bit less things in your life to worry. Okay. So money cannot give you happiness, but money is very much essential for a lot of things in your life. Money enables you in terms of liberty. Money gives you freedom. Money enables you. Understand this thing. If a person does not have money, if a person is poor, poverty is enemy to human happiness. It destroys your liberty. See, suppose let's say there is a rich person. This rich person wants to retire in the age of 30. He can do that. Rich person wants to spend some time with his children. He can do that because he has money, and the survival will not be their survival will not be jeopardized. But a poor person does not have this liberty, does not have a choice. He is ill, he has to go on the work. There is a festival, he has to go on the work, cannot attend the festivals with the children, because if he will not go, his survival will be jeopardized. So often our liberty gets compromised because of poverty. And when our liberty gets compromised, innately we feel unhappy. So therefore poverty is the number one enemy of happiness. It also says that it makes some virtues impracticable. Now see this particular thing. If a person is way too poor, that particular person, now see guys this particular thing, that if now there are many virtues. Okay. Now it is being said that you can practice a lot of virtues once your belly is fed. If your survival is not, now see, what is the basic instinct of human? Basic instinct of human is the survival. And once his survival will be ensured, he will move further into the lines of ethics and poverty. This is something that is said by the Samuel Johnsons. Okay, this is something that he has said. Now Nobel laureate Amartya Sen, He has also given an innovative way to look at poverty. He says that he has pioneered a broader perspective on well-being. He focuses that for well-being, human well-being, there should be the capabilities and functionings. Now, what is capability? Capabilities are ability to do this or that. Whatever I want to do, I should be able to do that. That is my capability. And functioning reflects achievements. Functioning reflects one's achievement. Okay. So basically they say that if there are functioning and capabilities induced in a human will be happy and that human's well-being is up to the mark. Okay. Now, basically guys, United Nations Development Program, it has come out with a measure that is multidimensional poverty index. And in multidimensional poverty index, they say that we are tracking the well-being of human. And in the multidimensional poverty index of UNDP, they measure the well-being on three parameters: health, education, and standard of living. Standard of living. Within the health, education, and standard of living, there are the sub-indices, but these are the three indices, and all these three have been given 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 weightage. Now, on the lines of this UNDP multidimensional poverty index, which has these three parameters, India has also come out with the national multidimensional poverty index. And this national multidimensional poverty index, it has been designed by Niti Aayog and UNDP jointly. And India's national multidimensional poverty index also has these three indices. Now guys, what has happened recently? National Multidimensional Poverty Index MPI 2023 was released. And as per this MPI 2023, it was said that on multidimensional poverty, MPI, multidimensional poverty index value, it declined from 24.85% to 14.96%. Means poverty in India has declined from 24.85% to 14.96%. Around 10 percentage point decline is there. They say that around 135.5 million people have exited poverty between 2015-16 to 2019-21. And they say that everybody is celebrating this fact that 135.5 million, 13.5 crore people have come out of poverty. Everybody is celebrating it. But article says that actually this methodology is flawed. This methodology has certain errors in this. Now, what are errors and how it is flawed? So they have given certain reasons for this particular thing. Now guys, one particular thing I just want to tell you here, that it is not required that you go too much into the nitty-gritties that have been given, because the analysis sometimes when done by one or two other economists, it also might have their own subjective biases. So that thing where their subjective interpretation is there, you need not to go, but when they are talking on some objective facts, that you should take and you should write in the exam also. Now, what are the problems that they have highlighted? First, they have said that when we talk about the multidimensional poverty index, it has relied on National Family Health Survey 4 and 5. Okay, multidimensional poverty index, it is giving some report, but how? They have used the National Family Health Survey 4 and 5 data. But there is some problem. Problem is this, guys, you read the name carefully. National Family Health Survey. Actually, it is a health survey. Being a health survey, information about poverty, information about economic well-being can be of inferred nature only. It has not gone too much in detail on the economic aspect. It is a health parameter, health data. So NFHS 5, okay, it is not detailed. It is not detailed enough for the estimation of poverty. Are you getting? NFHS 5 is blocked as its estimate of open defecation contradicted exaggerated official claim of its complete elimination. Now see this thing. This political controversy also happened few days back. What actually happened? NFHS 5. So NFHS 5 director, basically IIPS, International Institute of Population Sciences, IIPS is the institution which is responsible for NFHS 5. Its director was removed. Why? Because he claimed that open defecation in India has not been reached, but government is saying that 100% open defecation has been eliminated. So they say NFHS 5 at many number of times it contradicts government's claims, and in that capacity government has sacked its directors also. Okay. Secondly, there is one more problem, guys, that see, along with NFHS 4 and 5, consumption expenditure survey should also have been included. Now, when we talk about the consumption expenditure survey, it is the official survey, official data about poverty in India. Last consumption expenditure survey happened in 2011-12. After that happened in 2017-18. But 2017-18 report has not been released up till now, and it is being said by certain critics that report was not released because it indicated that poverty has increased. So consumption expenditure survey should have been included, but it has not included here. Okay. Also, guys, it is being said that, see, COVID-19 pandemic. Now you say that between 2015-16, you say between 2015-16 to 1921, 21 includes pandemic here also. You say 13.5 crore people exited poverty. But what about the COVID's impact? You are not accounting the COVID's impact. Many people lost their jobs, GDP declined considerably, okay, hunger, unemployment, everything increased, but that account is not being taken up. State level health expenditure have actually increased in the aftermath of COVID-19, but it fell far short of what was needed. Also, it has been said that if we see over the years, criminalization of politics has increased. Now see, we have data here for the criminalization of politics. Now see, Lok Sabha elections 2004. Okay, 24% of the MPs, they have criminal background. In 2019, 9 election, sorry, after 2009, 30% MPs have criminal background. 2014, 34% MPs have criminal background, and 2019, 43% MPs have criminal background. So successively it has increased. And criminal MPs means they are going to involve in corruption. They are going to involve in corruption. They are going to indulge in diverting the money, resources. So that is a big challenge. It has also not been accounted. So this is something that has come out of this. Okay. Sir, I have joined the test series. Is there any option to reattempt a test later once it is attempted? Actually, two things are there. Number one, there are 70 plus tests that are there. I highly doubt that whether you will be able to attempt 70 also. Okay. But for the question answer of this particular thing, one test you can attempt once, though you can download PDF. At PDF, if you want to attempt any number of times, you can do that. But at portal, you will be able to attempt once. Okay, moving on. Next article. 114 seats migrant quota cleared for J&K Assembly. So basically, guys, actually understand this particular thing. When we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, so you know this particular thing that in 2019, status of Jammu and Kashmir got changed. What happened? In 2019, Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act was passed, which number one, changed the status of Jammu and Kashmir from the state, it was converted to union territory. Also, guys, what happened? Special status that was given under Article 370, that special status also got diluted. Now the matter is in the Supreme Court that whether Parliament was competent to do that particular thing or not. Whether Parliament was competent to do that thing or not. And this matter is sub judice. And as this matter was going on in Supreme Court, government has passed two bills with respect to the Jammu and Kashmir. And opposition members are saying that it is wrong that you pass this bill when the status of Jammu and Kashmir is being seen in the Supreme Court. It is sub judice. That is one political controversy. However, we will not go too much in detail detail of political controversy. We need to see that what are the brief provisions of this Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act and Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Act. What are the brief provisions? And for that particular thing, guys, excellent explanation is actually given in this particular explainer infographic that has been given. So number one, guys, what has done? Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Bill, it has increased the number of seats in Jammu and Kashmir. So Jammu and Kashmir Assembly earlier had 107 seats, and these 107 seats have been increased to 114. Then 9 seats are reserved for scheduled tribes for the first time. Before that, no seats were reserved for scheduled tribes. So 9 seats for scheduled tribe have been reserved. Then also, guys, it empowers the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir to nominate 3 members to the assembly. To J&K Assembly, 3 members can be nominated, 2 members from the Kashmiri migrant community, with 1 nominee being a woman. Okay, so 3 members will be nominated, 2 from Kashmiri, 2 will be the Kashmiri migrants, okay, and 1 from people who have come from POK, the people who have come from POK after 1947, 65 and 71 wars. So 3 members two will be the Kashmiri migrants, and second is the people who come from Pakistan occupied Kashmir after war of 1947, 62 and 71. Also, what has happened? The reservation bill has replaced the word weak and underprivileged classes to the other backward classes. Okay. So these are the changes that have happened. Okay. That I have provided you here in the text form also. Then guys, moving on to the next article. Okay. So panel working on guidelines on seizure of personal digital devices, center cell Supreme Court. Now this guys, much has not happened in this particular article. Much has not is there in this article. Let me give you the context, and by context you will be able to understand this. So basically guys, we have seen that in the past few years or past few months, a lot of journalists, on them raids have been carried, and in these raids their electronic devices such as their laptop, mobiles, tablets, they have been seized. And it is being said that who gives the power to enforcement agencies to seize the laptops, mobiles and tablets of journalists? Okay, it is violation of their fundamental right. Power of seizure of the electronic devices, it goes against their right to privacy. It goes against their right to privacy. And this matter has been filed in Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court has actually asked the government that do you have some guideline? Do you have some working committee? Do you have some rule with respect to the seizures? So basically guys, what has happened? What has happened in response? In response, okay, Additional Solicitor General had said that a committee is working on this particular matter. As of now, there are no guidelines. So this particular matter is going on, and there are 300 devices that have been seized from 90 journalists in the past few months. So this matter is ongoing. Up till now, nothing has happened in this particular direction. Okay, then move away from colonial mindset, encourage use of Bhartiya languages, NCERT. So basically guys, what has happened? So we have seen that during the G20, what has happened? Wherever the name of India was to be used, their name of Bharat was used. And also guys, it has been said that in the textbooks also, there is a kind of a controversy going on, that it has been suggested by NCERT, okay, that there should be the word Bharat that should be used in place of India. That should be used in place of India. Now question has been asked from the Ministry of Education, that is there the plan to replace the word India from Bharat in the textbook? So basically it has been said that we recognize that Bharatiya languages is to be used, colonial mindset is to be abandoned. This is a reply that has been given. Just that particular thing is there, not important for examination. Okay, because guys, see, every political statement given in the parliament or every such kind of thing is not important. You need to track the policy issues, okay, developmental issues that are there, okay, academic issues which have a probability to getting asked in the examination. That is something that you need to go in. Okay, so guys, that is all about the newspaper discussion for today. Guys, I hope that you have understood it. And guys, in this particular session, we always give you overview in the start, whose objective is to let you know that how you should skim through the newspapers, how to identify which articles are important or not. So that is very important. Okay, so guys, that is all about it, and with this we come to the end of this particular session. I hope that you have understood it. Okay, there is one comment or question, I'll take this. Sir, seeing the current decision of government like not showing data, removing people from post, not according to them, reversing Supreme Court judgment, election of CEC, use of CBI, ED, etc., moving towards dictatorship. Okay, see, you can have this opinion, but keep it to yourself. In examination, such inclination or such inclination or such kind of a adversarial attitude towards the government should not be shown. In examination, you have to maintain a neutral stance. Okay, now moving on. Okay guys, thank you so much for your appreciation, likes and comments guys. I expect such support from you for